Chapter 7. Huh? I managed to choke out, still half asleep. I cleared my throat. I need your help, Tasha said. Huh? I sat straight up in bed. Tasha needed my help? Was I totally asleep? Was I dreaming this? I need you to cover a story for me, Tasha continued. For the paper. I've tried everyone else I know, and they couldn't do it. You're my last person I wanted to call, but you're my only hope. Huh? I replied. Ricky, is that all you can say? Tasha demanded shrilly. Did I wake you up or something? Huh? No. I cleared my throat again. I shook my head, trying to force myself to be alert. Tasha needed my help? I need you to come to school and cover the midwinter car wash, Tasha said. I need a story and photos right away. Huh, I replied. Why couldn't I stop saying that? I guess I was in shock or something. A car wash in winter? Tasha sighed. You don't know about the school car wash? Didn't you see all the signs? Don't you read the newspaper? Oh, right, I just forgot, I lied. I peeked out the window. Golden sunshine. A nice day for a car wash. Great, I'll come right to the school, Tasha, I told her. Thanks for giving me another chance. I didn't want to call you, she said coldly, but most of my reporters went on a field trip, and the others are working at the car wash. If my dog could take pictures, I would have used him. Thanks a lot, I cried. I know, she was trying to insult me, but she was also giving me a chance. Maybe I wouldn't have to take summer school after all. I pulled on a pair of faded jeans and a sweatshirt, gulped down a fast breakfast, some kind of pink, blue, and green cereal, and a glass of orange juice. Then I ran all the way to school. It was a warm day. On the radio they said it would snow tonight and tomorrow, but it felt just too warm to snow. As I crossed the street to the school, I saw kids setting up the car wash on the playground with a white banner fluttered in the morning breeze, proclaiming Harding Car Wash, $5. Kids were stretching long hoses from the back of the school building. Several buckets were set on a long wooden table, along with sponges and a stack of white towels. A blue Pontiac and a minivan were already in line to be washed. I hurried into the building and down the hallway to the newspaper room. I found Tasha all alone in the classroom. She leaned over her computer typing away. She frowned when she saw me come in. I'd do the story myself, she said, but I have to finish up the features page. I've never been so desperate. Nice greeting, huh? I'll do a good job, I promise, I said. She crossed the room and picked up a camera from Miss Richards' desk. Here, take this, Ricky. She handed it to me. And be careful with it. It's my dad's Pentax. It's really expensive, and it's his favorite camera. I held the camera carefully in both hands and examined it. I raised it to my eyes. Say cheese, I said. Tasha didn't smile. I'm warning you, Ricky, she said sternly. Don't let anything happen to that camera. Take 4 or 5 different shots of kids washing cars, then bring it right back to me. No problem, I told her. I want the story to be 6 or 8 paragraphs, she continued. You'll have to write it today and get it to me by tomorrow at the latest. Miss Richards and I are going to finish laying out the newspaper and print it on Monday night. No problem, I repeated. I'm saving a column on page 2, Tasha said, so promise me you won't mess up anything this time. I promise, I said. Then I turned and hurried out to the playground. I can do this, I told myself. I can handle it. I can turn my life around this morning. Everything will be great after I do this assignment. Well, that's what I told myself, but as soon as I arrived at the car wash, my life was ruined. Chapter 8. Squinting into the bright morning sun, I jogged across the playground. My sneakers slipped in the wet grass, and I carried the camera carefully in front of me with both hands. As I came closer, I shielded my eyes from the sun with one hand. I recognized the blue Pontiac. It belonged to Wart's parents. Kids with hoses surrounded it, spraying it on all sides. Raising the camera, I ran towards the car. Hold it right there, I called. Let me take a picture for the Herald. The first spray of water shocked me. I felt something hit the front of my sweatshirt. Something cold. I let out a startled cry. The next 2 sprays hit me in the face and the chest and sent me sprawling backwards. Hey! I managed to shout. Stop it! Are you crazy? I tried scrambling out of the way, but now there were 4 hoses trained on me. Ooh! The water was freezing cold. Ducking out of the way, I recognized the grinning faces, the 4 faces aiming the hoses. Brenda, Wart, David, and Jared. Who else? Sputtering, I turned and tried to run out of range. Cold water spraying down on me like a shower. Another hose caught me in the back. "Stop it! Hey! Stop it, you guys!" I cried. And then I remembered the camera. Ducking my head from another hard blast of water, I raised the camera. Drenched. Totally drenched. Ugh! An angry scream tore from my throat. Staring in horror at the dripping wet camera, I lost it. For the first time in my life, I just totally lost it. I strapped the camera around my neck and then I spun around and hurtled towards my 4 attackers. My last chance, I told myself. My last chance on the newspaper, and they're ruining it. Howling and giggling, the 4 7th graders tried to blast me back with their hoses, but I lowered my head and came at them. Sputtering, shaking off water, I leapt on Mort. I tackled him around the waist and dragged him to the ground. He cut his laugh short and startled with a startled gasp. I grabbed the hose from his hand, pulled open the door to his parents' car, and sent a spray of water into the car. "Hey, no!" Wart wailed. Water from David's hose shot against my back. Water sprayed the air like a fountain. At the next car, I heard kids laughing and shouting in surprise. I drenched the back seat and then the front. Then I saw Brenda, David, and Jared drop their hoses. I dropped mine too, and started to run. They all chased after me, and I didn't get far. The grass was so slippery and wet, I ran a few steps, and then my sneakers slid out from under me. I went down hard, fell face down into the grass, on top of the camera. Chapter 9. "Does this mean I'm off the paper?" I asked meekly. Tasha scowled and turned the camera over in her hands. "The lens is cracked," she murmured, shaking her head. "The whole camera is soaked and bent." Her voice trembled. It's wrecked." "It really wasn't my fault," I said softly. She angrily blew a strand of red hair off her forehead. "You'll pay for it," she cried. "You'll pay for the camera, Ricky. If you don't, my father will sue you." "But Tasha," I pleaded, "you know it wasn't my fault." "Go away," she snapped. "Just go away. Nothing is ever your fault, right?" "Well, it wasn't," I insisted. "If you'd listen to me, Tasha." "You're just bad news, Ricky," she said, scowling at me again. She examined the broken camera one more time and then dropped it onto a desk. "You don't take anything seriously," she accused. "You think everything is a goof." "But Tasha," I started to plead. "Go away," she said. "That was your last chance. You didn't deserve it. You're just a creep. Why do you think all the kids call you Ricky Rat? Because that's what you are, a little rodent." Those words really stung. I felt a stab of pain in my chest, and I struggled to breathe. I spun around so that Tasha couldn't see how upset I was, and I hurried out of the room and out of the school. As I ran across the playground, I heard the kids at the car wash singing and laughing. They were soaping up cars, spraying them clean, having a great time. As I passed, I heard some kids start to chant, "Sicky Ricky," and I heard some other kids laugh. I turned my head away and kept running. I knew that by Monday, Tasha would have told everyone about how I ruined her father's camera. The story would be all over the school. Everyone would know how Ricky Rat had messed up again. Running home with Tasha's words still in my ears, I felt more angry with each step. I wanted to scream. I wanted to explode. That's when I decided to pay Tasha back. That's when I decided to play a mean joke. Creep. 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 The word repeated and repeated in my mind. "Ricky, you're just a creep. Just a little rodent. You'll pay, Ricky. If you don't, my father will sue you." Rodent. 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 She had no right to call me that. It wasn't fair. I had been so hurt, so angry. But by the time I reached home, I was smiling. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew how I was going to take my revenge. I had my plan all worked out in my mind. It couldn't fail. It couldn't. So here I am, Monday night. I sneaked into the classroom where Tasha and Miss Richards were working. I gleefully typed my little message on the bottom of the front page of the newspaper. I knew I had to hurry. Tasha and Miss Richards would return any second. I listened tensely for any sound, for any sign that they were near. I'd never been so nervous in all of my life, but I also had a smile on my face. Ricky, they all think you're a loser, but you're a genius, I congratulated myself. Only you could have dreamed up such a wonderful, nasty revenge. Glancing at the doorway every 2 seconds, I finished typing up the message for the Harding Middle School newspaper readers. Calling all creeps. Calling all creeps. If you're a real creep, call Tasha at 555-6709 after midnight. I read it over. It made me smile again. I felt like jumping up and down and laughing out loud, but I knew I couldn't make a sound. I stood up, turned to the window, and started to make my escape. Halfway to the window, I heard Tasha cough and step into the room. I was caught.